buttercup, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Hey guys, what's going on? Nerf Herder again. Once again, we are having a good time. I've got another Saber video review update for an updated CFX Saber. One of my personal favorite designs in all of Star Wars. I am a huge fan of this concept. The Corran Horn, for those who aren't familiar with the EU, the Expanded Universe, Legends. He is a Corellian Jedi, X-Wing pilot. For those of you who have read Michael Stackpole is I, Jedi, which actually the cover of the book looks like that. Corran Horn, in desperation, has to build a lightsaber handle, and he uses a bunch of junk parts from a speeder bike handle, and a flash suppressor from a gun, all this different stuff. It calls it together, and I just think that's so cool. But the fact that it is a like the body of the lightsaber is actually a throttle from a speeder bike is just something that is so, it tickles my fancy so much, and I'm a huge sucker for that kind of cleverness in a Star Wars, because it just makes so much sense in a Star Wars world. And in that situation, you would just cobble together what you could, and the speeder bike handle is just dope. So this one will be on my speeder bike handle MHS Saber that is heavily inspired, and I mean heavily inspired, by the Solos Hold Maverick. Solos Hold made a design from the Endor speeder bikes, because this is something I love about these, the Corran Horn speeder bike handle, is it can essentially just let your imagination go, because there's only a description in the book, and it's a very detailed description, but there's not really a movie or show or something where everyone's like, that is directly his lightsaber, no questions. Like, you know, when you got like a Luke hero or Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, everyone's got, we all know what it is, but with Corran Horn, it's left to interpretation, and that makes endless opportunities for endless Corran Horns. Everyone can have a Corran Horn. So this one is one of my favorites, mainly because, well, I mean, just look at it, you know, it's gorgeous. It's all dirty junk. He was driving it and we were riding it. But this one was made for me as a gift from my good buddy TJ Wells at Ignition Saber Company. Him and I are fans of the Corran Horn speeder bike handle, and I made a video, one of my first few videos on this channel, because I love the Corran Horn design. I made an MHS style Corran Horn speeder bike handle, originally with this emitter. I swap them out for funsies. I need to redo this Saber as well, but it is a Prism 5.1, very dated style soundboard, no smooth swing, but this is extremely heavily inspired because of the emitter, or just in general. Rob, Genesis Custom Sabers, he has a design that's MHS, and these are all MHS Sabers. I built all these from the Custom Saber Shop's modular hilt system pieces, pommels, bodies, all these different things all these different pieces came from the Custom Saber Shop, and I just customized a lot. So, you know, you got Rob from Genesis Custom Sabers did a run, and then he's made it even different now. He made a designed style Corran Horn speeder bike hilt, and I drew heavily from that to make mine. Say it's like a speeder bike handle. This one's fun. I put the little blinky activation lights in there. So I did that video with that speeder bike handle, and in the video I was like, oh man, I would love a Solos Hold Maverick, because the Solos Hold Maverick is just in my opinion, is awesome design. It's beautiful. Solos Hold does some top-notch quality hilts, and I was like, oh, I'd love to get one, but I don't have the money for it. And I was like, maybe someday. And then TJ made his own versions of these. I believe he made 3 in total. Maybe, I think it's only 3. I know Omar jokes about me being the 3rd one, but truth be told, I think I was the 2nd one. But he made his, and I was like, bro, I would love the opportunity to get that and play with it and modify it myself. TJ was like, yeah, man, maybe. I don't know if I'll make another or not. And then seriously, like not long after, he was like, hey, buddy, like I know you really loved it, and I wanted you to have it, so, you know, it'll be there on like Tuesday. I was like, wait, what? He made this hilt, because he took the, custom machined, because TJ does some custom machining, custom machined this emitter, and then the sleeve that goes over it to create that gorgeous freaking layering, that depth. Like the inside of this emitter is milled at a slight angle to make it lower, so the sleeve material and the emitter have a gap. And I'm such a sucker for this freaking emitter. But yeah, he did the emitter, and then he machined the grooves in the body to make it look a little bit more like, a little bit more dimensions, because originally this is just a plain Jane blank grip from the Custom Saber Shop. I weathered it, dirtied it up, man. I wanted it to look nasty. We got some rust to look in here. It's hard to tell with the camera, but she's all kinds of rusty, which is just the paint application. Well, a lot of it is aluminum black, actual rusting, and then I clear coated that to keep the, there you go. You can see some rust in there you go. Some rust up in there. In the pommel and just areas, crevices where it could rust. And then the emitter claw holder that we like to use. I left this one without a knob or anything. There's no knob on that. So yeah. So he sent me that, and I was like, bro, you are too kind. Oh yeah, and I made a little custom switch cover for the pommel, which is heavily inspired by the Maverick. So he sent me that, and I was so ecstatic. I eventually repaid the favor with a custom build and sent it to him, installed it, and I was like, that's what it's all about, man. Just friends sharing the love for lightsabers and people doing kind things for each other. A lot of times in this community, everybody's so set out on, having the best, being the first, having the most recognition, all that stuff, when really you got to remember, man, this is because you do this because you like it. You love lightsabers, you love props, you love bringing things to life, and you just be kind to another, man. Just freaking, what's the point in this, being in this hobby if you don't have any good friends to share it with? And it always has its perks to have good friends. You get parts and pieces, trades and whatnot. Everybody having fun. That's what makes this hobby really fun for me. There's a bunch of different ways you can do a Corran Horn speeder bike handle. These ones are inspired by other makers, which is just my love letter to them. I love their designs. I love it. I've always wanted one. They're hard to get. That's why I have to make my own sometimes. You can essentially make a speeder bike handle lightsaber, a Corran Horn style lightsaber hilt out of anything. I mean, just let your imagination soar. So after some time, Nevin, you'll have seen him, Space Junk Sabers, another friend of mine, who actually lives in an area where I used to live in Washington, around the same area. So that's how I was like, oh wow, that's crazy, because he posted a picture of his Corran Horn build, and I was like, oh, that area looks familiar, and he was like, yeah, it's right outside of where Washington. I was like, oh dude, what? So Nevin makes a ton of really awesome, just all original style Corran Horn speeder bike hilts. I'm sure you all have seen them. They're gorgeous. I need to get one. He wanted me to install one at one point. I'm so booked up, but I will hopefully be able to do one for him soon, and hopefully for a personal one of mine. I really want one done by him. I love the design, but he hit me up multiple times and was just like, he loves the idea too, and we all talked about him. TJ, a couple of us talked about starting a group. So after because I was like, I doubt it'll be a very busy group. Not a lot of people do Corran Horn builds or even know about them. And I was like, screw it. You know what? I'll make one. I made a page. First time I ever made a group page of any kind. I mainly did it because I came up with the name, and I was like, it's too good of a name for a group for this saber builders to not do it. So if you guys are interested in building Corran Horn sabers and you want to share it, and feel free to share it in all the groups that allow it. But if you want a dedicated Corran Horn speeder bike handle saber page, which it's just a lot of good people who build the junk speeder bike handle and throw it up there, and we encourage you to do the same. Sons of Corellia, which just felt so proud about that one. Sons of Corellia is, he's from Corellia, and I was, I'll play on something with a speeder bike handle, a motorbike, Sons of Anarchy show. And I was like, yeah, Sons of Karelia. And I need to make it, I want to make a logo where it's like a speeder bike, style gang and a skull and all that stuff and whatnot. But so yeah, you got him. You got a bunch of good builders on there. Nick Cohen from Starfall Sabers. If you guys are on YouTube, check out Starfall Sabers. Nick has been around for a long time, and he makes a ton of awesome stuff. He is a true to Corran Horn style builder. I mean, he's just builds out of found parts. Everything is all original one-off sabers. It's truly incredible work, and he builds a lot of Corran Horn speeder bike handles as well. I got a lot of influence from him and whatnot. So let's jump right into the CFX is updated on this saber as well, which made me extremely happy because I was able to throw a bunch of extras on here that I'm like, okay. It's so much fun to play with. This is seriously so much fun to play with. I've got speeder bike sound font on here from John Rossi at Sabers Forever. There's another speeder bike sound font that I need to get, and it's by the Proplicator. I think it's called Zoomer Bike, but I'll grabbing that up soon. Those are all speeder bike inspired sound fonts, because this is what gets me going also, is the fact that there is a speeder bike sound font dedicated to a lightsaber sound. Like, just everything about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and boot this guy up.
Sound bank selection.
Updated to the latest CFX firmware, and this has the one thing I love about it is the white flash on ignition that I can do, the localized lockup, tip drag. There's a bunch more blade styles stuff. There's the other feature that I really enjoy is activating the force wave effects, which are just little Easter egg sound effects that you can activate yourself. Now, previous versions, if you pressed auxiliary and swung, you got one quote or whatever file you put on there, whether it's, a Willem Scream or whatever wave file you wanted to throw on there, you could. You just change it to force wave, or almost every sound font comes with it if you're for CFX. And then you had a clash and press the auxiliary at the same time, and you got your second force wave. So you could originally only get up to 2 force waves. Now with the latest update, if you label them, you got force wave 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can play all of them just by swinging and having a good time. So that was allowed me to put a ton of different sounds of speeder bikes on here. And my friend Dylan, who is my go-to guy of like, hey man, I need a Wookiee yelling. And he's like, all right, man, I got you. And then I'm like, hey, dude, I need a TIE fighter to blast noises and fly by. He's like, all right, I got you. Like, I love it. Dylan and I love to play with these little sound bites and sprinkle them on in. So I was like, I need a bunch more dedicated speeder bike sounds. And he hit me up. So we got a bunch of fun stuff on there. Let's go ahead and fire it up. So I heavily modified these sound fonts. I think I added different smooth swing pairs, but this is Corran Horn speeder bike from Sabers Forever, John Rossi. You can get it on Etsy. And then I added smooth swing pairs from different. Could you not have a good time with that? So I also forgot to mention that I have definitely modified the sounds on these sound fonts a lot. So when you purchase the sound font from him, it's not going to sound like this. I added things like the force wave. I added a different smooth swing pair. You will get everything you need for a sound font, but I just customize it just to make it a little bit more fun for me. Let's go to the second sound font, which is the exact same sound font, but a different version. You get in the legacy version, you get two different sound fonts. One was actual like lightsaber swings. The other one is more speeder bike swings. So I took some of the legacy sounds and mixed them in with the smooth swing font and made another. So this is the second one that I made, so I can have two. And again, I added a different smooth swing pair. Hey, he's added some end locks. I forgot about that. Huh. His accent swings are awesome. And then one of my favorite force waves of all time. It's so much fun for me to do. And I'm just a nerd. I like to throttle it like I'm actually throttling a freaking bike. One of my favorite force swings, man. I mean, look at this thing. So beautiful. Love it. Oh, and I added some post-offs, some pre-ons and post-off little clicks and wind downs and I'm just a fan of that, like the bike shuts down or something. Alright, and then lastly on this one,
sound bank selection.
I've got a bunch of fonts on here, but I'm only going to demo these three fonts. This next one is Genesis Custom Sabers Corellian, which is another his Corran Horn inspired sound font. I added that pre-on, that's from me. Home's great. Smooth swing. Such a great font. It's such a great sounding font. This also has one of my absolute favorite force wave effects. So I added pre-ons and post-offs. You'll hear little clicks or little startup spools. That's not a part of the original font. Again, that's something I did. This is another really cool aspect of Corran Horn's lightsaber is it's a dual phase crystal type saber. So he would flick a switch or however, and different crystal would rotate in the saber. It would do a different alignment and the blade would extend. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So when he would activate it, you know, it would extend and whatnot, and it has a really cool thing that Rob did. He kind of changed the pitch. You can change the pitch with a force wave, and it just sounds so freaking fun. Another thing, Corran Horn has a silver blade. I don't have one on here. I just usually use blue. I have made a silver blade for my other Corran Horn. It's just basically like it looks like a close to a white, but. How can you not like that? And then it goes back here.
What the?
You could draw the energy from blasters. video without putting a blade in. I'll go ahead and put the blade in real quick. Show you guys what it looks like with the blade. Oh, so much fun. All right. Okay. Here we go. One of my all-time favorite styles to play with. I think if there's anything I'm going to build probably for the rest of my life, forever, if I stay in this hobby, is scrap flexes. I can never stop. And speeder bike handle sabers. Corran Horn inspired sabers. I'm itching to build the other ones. This is the one I'm working on lately, which is heavily inspired by Genesis Custom Sabers first gen style speeder bike handle, which this is for personal use only. This is not something I make for anyone, because that's wrong. You're not supposed to build and produce hilts that somebody else designs. It's just, for the most part, you ask the people who design them, like I did with my derelict saber. I was like, hey Brad, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'm not selling it or anything like that. It's literally for me. And he was like, go for it, man. So like a lot of times these inspired hilts that I get or that I show, they are specifically for me. I'm never ever going to produce or profit off of them. They're because I couldn't find one and I really want one. So all right guys, that'll do it for me on the Corran Horn speeder bike handle. More videos on Corran Horn builds. I'll always build them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. More videos to come, and until next time, may the force be with you.
Who's scruffy looking?